Hi friends, Space Wolves have quickly become my favorite chapter ever since I started collecting them last year. I love their aesthetics, I love their heroic nature, I love their warrior culture, but what I especially love is their vast lineup of awesome characters. And out of that vast lineup of awesome characters, Logan Grimnar has to be one of the most awesomest character, and is in a three-way tie with Ragnar and Ulrik as my favorite. So, with the best looking Primaris Marines ever revealed, and perhaps the best looking 40k Marine model, my wolf hype is at an all-time high. So, screw the Chaos release I was gonna do, let's talk about one of the most legendary heroes of the Imperium. The Ultra Mega Super Chad Logan Grimnar is one of the best, if not the best, chapter masters of all time. He's a charismatic leader who leads his wolves in great battles across the Imperium, defending the Emperor's loyal subjects by all means necessary. Defined by his honor, unrivaled ferocity, and tactical mind, Logan Grimnar is a legend among legends. Despite his myriad of larger-than-life feats, he's also one of the most human Marines, which makes me like him all the more. Logan Grimnar began like most people do, as a sperm fertilizing an egg, but we'll skip that part all the way to when he was a child. Born on Fenris to the Ironblood tribe, Grimnar was trained in combat like all Fenrisian youth. Eventually his tribe would come into conflict with other tribes, since killing each other is essentially the national pastime of Fenris. So, in the ambush by an enemy tribe, all of Logan's crewmates had been slain, and the young Grimnar had a bloody last stand with his assailants. His bravery and skill in battle was noticed by Wolf Priest Ulrik, and he was brought to the Fang to be made a Space Marine aspirant. Here, Grimnar would be put through the traditional Space Wolf trials. He proved to be a promising warrior, and Ulrik continued to mentor him. After passing the trial of Mordecai and given the Canis Helix, Grimnar began his journey as a Space Marine. Grimnar soon became one of the most renowned warriors, and he was noted for his extreme charisma. Grimnar was a natural-born leader. He had a friendly aura that earned the trust and admiration of all his battle brothers. He was known for his jokes and humility, traits that would remain when he became Wolflord, and solidify his place as the greatest leader of the Space Wolves. Even as High King of the Space Wolves, Grimnar worked closely with his battle brothers, talking strategy, giving guidance, and even attending feasts with his boys, eating, drinking, and sharing laughs. He's just a chill dude like that. No pun intended. So then, in the present time, Grimnar is a veteran of over 700 years and has been a Great Wolf for about 500 of those years, meaning that he's the second oldest chapter master. Unless, of course, some rando chapter with like Ascendance of Lore just happens to be led by Dr. 3000 years old or something. Jokes aside though, unlike Dante, Logan's age does not weigh on him, and he remains charismatically lively and is as ferocious in battle as ever. Which I don't mean to say as a dig at Dante at all. Although Grimnar is old, he's still like half of Dante's age, and Dante's struggles make him one of the most fascinating characters in the entire setting. Anyways though, Grimnar's centuries of experience is reflected in his tactical prowess and martial might. In battle, Grimnar's an absolute monster. He's clad in Terminator plate and towers above most other Marines. His primary weapons are a wrist-mounted Stormbolter and his signature axe Mordecai. Mordecai is named after the Fenrisian wolf god, and it was originally a demon axe that Grimnar claimed in the First War for Armageddon. It's a powerful weapon that's fueled by the power of Khorne. Since acquiring the axe, Grimnar has regularly had it reforged and inscribed with powerful runes by Njall Stormcaller in order to sanctify the weapon and prevent it from corrupting him. And then, finally for his gear, he's often seen riding into battle on his war chariot Stormrider. Which, yeah, in conjunction with his beard and somewhat jolly attitude, kinda makes him similar to Santa Claus. But, last I checked, everybody except for Lamos loves Santa Claus, so checkmate, atheist, the sled is cool. Anyways, said sled is often led by a pair of ferocious Thunderwolf buddies that Logan adopted after slaying the legendary Thunderwolf Fellclaw. However, he got into the health craze recently and committed himself to walking more to keep his vitality in his growing age. So, in his awesome new model, he seems to have ditched the sled to walk his dogs, which, the model's so damn cool, I can overlook the loss of a fun and cool Stormrider. But fancy gear means nothing if you can't use it, so luckily, Grimnar can certainly use it. Logan Grimnar is said to be one of the most skilled and gifted warriors, not only in the Space Wolf ranks, but the Imperium as a whole. Being 700 years old, Grimnar is a finely honed warrior and has of course seen some stuff and been in a lot of 40k's most iconic battles. So let's go over some of his most nutty feats and battles over his career. Before becoming Great Wolf, he started as a Bloodclaw like all wolves do. He proved himself in many battles, including some in the legendary Makarian Crusade. Due to his impressive feats, he would eventually be made a Wolf Guard and then Wolf Lord, and eventually Great Wolf. He earned his position as Great Wolf after a conflict with a Dark Eldar results in the death of the previous Great Wolf, and the chapter almost unanimously elected GRIMNAR to take his place. One of GRIMNAR's first major conflicts as a Great Wolf was the Insano First War for Armageddon, where he inspired the Steel Legionnaires and wrecked Khorne despite being outnumbered 1,000-1. After the war, he would go on to wreck Grey Knight after they had betrayed him. More on that soon though. As a Great Wolf, he led the chapter, amassing many victories and legendary feats. He defeated the indomitable Imhotep the Stormlord in the Battle of Valaloth 4, which, if you know anything about the Stormlord, this might just be Logan's greatest feat. He also fought alongside the Dark Angels and Cadians in the pivotal Fall of Cadia. The Wolves and the Lions made for a near unstoppable force that greatly helped the valiant Cadians despite the tragic fall that would come. And then finally, he would defend his home in the Siege of Fenris, where he would land a decisive blow against Magnus himself, banishing the Primarch with the help of the Grey Knights and saving his homeworld. Absolutely wild. Along with his own personal strength, Logan consistently leads an effective force and is known for his ability to defeat enemy armies far larger than his own through his cunning and ferocity. But even with all that, the thing that makes Logan my favorite chapter master is his humility and adherence to his own values. I really love his unwavering attitude and how heroic he is for the setting, all the while being a pretty chill, down-to-earth dude for a demigod. Over the 700 years, GRIMNAR has become very wise and has a wisdom only eclipsed by the legendary Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And he's a tactical powerhouse. GRIMNAR's vast experience earned him a deep understanding of the Imperium and the endless powers which threaten it. As such, the High King's most sacred duty is to protect Imperials, which exemplifies one of Logan GRIMNAR's most defining traits, that being his unshakable honor. No matter what, he will stick to his values and do what he believes to be right. His stalwart leadership has earned him the respect of many, from humble guardsmen to legendary Marines. But it has also earned him the ire of some influential rivals. Most famously, GRIMNAR and his wolves came into conflict with the Inquisition and Grey Knights in the Months of Shame after GRIMNAR fought to protect the brave guardsmen and citizens who defended Armageddon alongside the wolves and knights. After the brutal First War of Armageddon, the Inquisition had ordered its forces, including the Grey Knights, to capture the citizens of Armageddon and the guardsmen that valiantly fought alongside them, and then either execute or sterilize and enslave them. Logan GRIMNAR, the ultra Chad that he is, found it abominable to subject innocent citizens and the loyal warriors who bravely risked their lives to fight for the glory of the Emperor to such unceremonious ends. So he and the ultra Chad Space Wolves try to save as many Armageddonites, I don't know, whatever the hell they are. Anyways, he tried to save as many of them as possible, which the Inquisition didn't like, and this led to a Cold War, later dubbed the Months of Shame. This escalated to one of the most infamous feats in which he killed a bunch of Grey Knights and their Grand Master. Which, also, gotta put on my wolf simp hat again, him killing the Grey Knight Grand Master is not as outrageous as many say it is. First off, GRIMNAR, the absolute Chad, and his wolves, also Chads, went out of their way to minimize chaos, exposure, and corruption to the people of Armageddon at the risk of their own Marines. So, the Inquisition enslaving them was mostly unnecessary. Secondly, it was the moron Inquisitor and somewhat unwitting Grey Knights who broke the armistice and shot at the defenseless Space Wolf ships, and then had the audacity to call the Space Wolves the dishonorable ones, as if neutering and backstabbing your allies is the peak of honor. Thirdly, GRIMNAR is objectively one of the most powerful Space Marines and a chapter master, and he caught the Grand Master, a captain equivalent, by surprise. Although the Grey Knights are an elite Astartes chapter, they're still Marines at the end of the day. Plus, the Space Wolves are an anti-Psyker chapter, so it's not super hard to imagine that they might be good against Psykers and might just dampen their precognizance a little bit. Whatever you think of this moment, I'm just saying, almost everything in 40k is either the coolest shit ever from one point of view, or total bullshit from another. Space Wolves do it, Grey Knights do it, even the Tau do it. So, this moment's not even in the top 10 most unprecedented feats in my opinion. Plus, other than Grimnar holding a forever grudge against the Inquisition, it seems like the two chapters are more chill now, no pun intended, especially since the Months of Shame are mostly Inquisitor Cisnaro's fault anyways. However, bias aside, this does show the lengths that Grimnar is willing to go to defend the people of the Imperium, which, as a guard player, is one of the reasons I really love the Wolves. Grimnar is one of the most heroic and sympathetic chapter masters and is reflected in his chapter. Another reason he was so willing to defy the Inquisition is that he strongly believes in the Wolves' independence and doesn't like any outsiders, especially unrespectable outsiders, such as the Inquisition, to tell him what to do. But, using that to bridge the people who Grimnar does respect, let's talk about his besties, aka his chapter command. These dudes will get a dedicated video eventually, but they're close to Grimnar, so I thought it was relevant to briefly mention them now. Logan Grimnar is Great Wolf and Wolf Lord of the Champions of Fenrir's Great Company. As such, he works closely with some of the other iconic Wolf characters who also got some sick-ass models recently. So, first off, is the leader of Grimnar's Wolf Guard and chapter champion, the gargantuan mountain of a man, Arjac Rockfist. Rockfist is one of the few Marines even larger than Logan and was an Iron Priest before becoming a Wolf Guard. He is an absolute beast on the battlefield, rampaging through armies with his humongo hammer and shield, the former being fitted with a mini teleporter so that he can Thor throw it and summon it back to his hand. Coolest shit ever. Next, let's talk about Logan's mentor and the man responsible for putting Grimnar on his path to greatness, Ulrik the Slayer. Ulrik is a legendary wolf priest who recruited the adolescent Logan and in the present day serves as Grimnar's advisor. Funnily enough, he refers to the 7-year-old man as a young wolf. But even cooler than being the Space Wolves recruiter, Ulrik earned his Slayer moniker in the First War of Armageddon, where he, as his name suggests, slayed a bunch of Khorne berserkers. He slayed so hard that even Angron himself stopped for a second to salute him. Fucking Demon Prince Angron, Mr. Murder Killface, respected Ulrik's game so much that he paused his murder spree for a sec to congratulate him. Literally peak. Afterwards, he declined a promotion to Great Wolf so that he could more completely focus on killing without the burden of leadership. Badass! Then finally, there's Grimnar's rune priest, Njall Stormcaller. Stormcaller is the most powerful rune priest and one of the greatest, if not the greatest, psychers in the Imperium. Greatest totally not psyker in the Imperium. Sorry guys. Stormcaller earned his name and demonstrated his immense psychic ability when he soloed a greater demon and then summoned a humongo ice storm to destroy the remaining Chaos army. He also got his cool little bird there. Presently though, he serves as another of Grimnar's advisors, utilizing his psychic visions to help the old wolf. And he's of course a kick-ass warrior who could summon blizzards and ice beams all day. But with his besties, let me just reiterate one last time why I like Grimnar so much. This dude is an absolute powerhouse and has everything you'd want in a chapter master. From felling Grey Knights to slashing Primarchs, Logan Grimnar is a combat monster, and defeating the Stormlord displays his equally formidable tactical might. He's just straight up an absolute insano and is, in my opinion, the most powerful chapter master just under the nutty insano that is Caldor Drago, a guy whose feats are so great that they almost break the setting. Not a bad dude to be second to. He's also one of the only dudes who can full on sprint in Terminator armor. Total mad lad. And then, outside of being a total badass in battle, he repeatedly goes out of his way to defend the people of the Imperium and do what he feels is right. And I mean, at the end of the day, Marines were made to defend the people of the Imperium, so Grimnar truly is the best of the best. Plus, him chilling with his wolves is just really wholesome. Him being at the dinner table with Ragnar and the other wolves, just talking about kicking ass, laughing and drinking with each other, is a great example of why I love the wolves so much. Plus, he's Space Santa, goddammit! And now, this video was originally going to be for all the wolf characters, but I ended up gushing about Grimnar for far too long. So, I'm gonna do the same thing with the other absolute Chad that is Ragnar Blackmane and probably some other wolf characters, so look out for that. I really think that they have some of the best, if not the best, characters in the setting. Anyways though, let me know what you think of Logan Grimnar and the Space Wolves. Are you as hyped for his awesome model as I am? Personally, my Space Marine hype is at an all-time high thanks to Mr. Grimnar and the boys, but whatever you think, let me know in the comments. But anyways, thank you for watching me simp over Old Wolfman, and big thanks to the patrons who helped keep the channel running. I truly appreciate it. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and consider sharing to all your mega super insano Space Wolf heroes. Thanks! Also, do not at me saying Tyberos is stronger or better than Grimnar. That mofo is so overhyped it's almost not funny. And I like the Shark Man, but his biggest feat is looking cool as hell.